Previously on the FisiCareer. Would that be enough to get us into the third part of qualifying for the first time this season? It is up to 8th place. Now we have our best chance yet to score our first points for Marussia. The lights are now out for the Monaco Grand Prix. Massa behind us had an incredible launch off the line. It's very close with Raikkonen, Alonso going ahead, and now I'm going off the inside of Alonso. A very daring move. Massa's got some kind of problem here. Massa slow down again in the break zone. A massive lock up. Oh, Alonso, what the fuck? What kind of overtake is that? Come on guys, let me out. No, let me out, let me out. Oh, it's starting to drizzle with rain. There's a group of cars quite close, so the points finish is certainly not in the bag just yet. Gutierrez again very close, going through Raskas and sliding all over the place. It's going to be a points finish for Fisichella. It's P8 around Monaco. Hello guys and welcome back to the FisiCareer. It has been quite a while since the previous race. As you saw in the intro there, the Monaco Grand Prix was the previous race when we scored our first points of the season for Marussia, and also since Fisichella's comeback to Formula 1. I apologize for the lack of progress in this series in the past couple of months. It's just been so much going on, but it's back now, and I hope going forward from this point I will be able to do them a bit more regularly so that we can get through this season, well, before you all turn 50. So, as you know, this is the series where I've brought Giancarlo Fisichella, my favourite driver, back to the grid of Formula 1, but it hasn't been a particularly straightforward season so far, with Fisichella only managing to secure a seat for one of the slowest teams on the grid, that being Marussia. But as you've just seen on the screen, we managed to put in a decent lap in qualifying 1 for this Canadian Grand Prix to get us through to Q2, getting 14th in that first session. So continuing on our good trend of getting through from qualifying 1, as far as I can remember, we've done that in every race so far. Ow, but there now, as you can see there, we just ruined our first go in qualifying 2, which obviously we find it much more difficult throughout this season so far to get through from Q2, apart from last time out in Monaco, obviously, when we did that as well. And the reason that was a bit of a shame in hitting the World Champions there was that that run was on our final set of fresh, unused option tires. So we've now gone back out at the end of qualifying 2 on our on a scrubbed set, actually, a set that has already been set a lap on previously. And as you can see, the weather has changed as well at the end of the session. It started to drizzle a bit with some raindrops, and that obviously didn't help our run. But mainly the fact that we weren't on fresh tires made it very difficult to improve the lap we had already done. As you can see, 0.3 of a second down on the previous lap going through the second sector split. So in order to get any kind of improvement to our starting position at the moment, sitting in 16th place, coming towards the end of this lap, we needed an absolutely incredible third sector. Luckily, we at least didn't hit the World Champions on this run, but a little bit of a tail slide coming out of the chicane as well. So the lap just wasn't good enough. Actually, almost a second off Ricciardo in 15th place. And even if you had matched our much quicker time from Q1 on the fresher tires, we would have been in the same starting position. So back to reality a bit there, really, for the Marussia team after that incredible finish and performance in Monaco. Monaco obviously quite a special track with the layout needing you to be very precise on the steering, that being one of my better traits, I think. Whereas Canada is quite a lot different and not at all one of my favourite tracks to drive. And guys, what do we have here? We got intermediate tires on the car for the race here. And it's light rain outside the garage. I'm not really sure if that's a good thing for us, really, because remember last time it was raining, that was in Spain, and that went horrible. But there's an update from the engineer.
We've made some minor adjustments to the aerodynamics of the car. You should see a slight improvement in downforce.
So, it's happened for the second time this season. Apparently, Marussia has improved the car. But I'm not sure we can really celebrate quite yet, because remember last time that happened, that was in Bahrain, when I went out on the track in the apparently improved car and spun into the wall straight away. So let's hope that doesn't happen here for the first lap of the race, but we shall wait and see. So we're starting all the way down in 16th for this race. I think we should aim to at least improve that. I don't think fighting for points will be too realistic, but at least I want to get up from 16th and get as high as I possibly can, as the lights are already out for this Canadian Grand Prix, and Nico Hülkenberg has had a brilliant start, and so has Bottas. We've had a really terrible start, actually. But now we're braking on the outside, going into turn 1, putting his hand up in the air. We've been pushed a little bit onto the grass there, and now really been squeezed onto the curb on the inside, not getting a great exit because of being on the curb, and Hülkenberg and Sutil and Maldonado all managed to outpace us on the exit. So we're still in 16th place with quite a lot of cars going slow through this corner. And there's a McLaren in the wall there. That's Sergio Perez who's lost out. And now the Force India is going slow of Sutil. And now coming towards this corner, down on the inside of Nico Hülkenberg. Maldonado holding it around the outside with a bit of a slide to stay ahead. Oh, now we're sliding as well. But we managed to gain that position back on Hülkenberg, which we lost at the start of the race. And because of the frantic action on those couple of corners, we managed to move up to P13 now after half a lap gone in this 35 lap race. And we know from experience that it's crucial to get past people as quickly as possible when you're in a car like Marussia, which is normally quite a bit slower than the cars we're battling with, and it's usually easy to defend from cars than it is to keep up with them and then overtake. So now let's see if we can get a good exit out of the hairpin to possibly challenge Maldonado on the straight here, but we use the rest of our cars to get a good run, but Maldonado is a bit too far ahead for us to get any kind of substantial slipstream advantage. Now braking hard for the chicane at the end of the lap, which is quite difficult to take really without cutting across the massive sausage curbs, and we've done it a little bit wrong there and scraped the wall of champions on the exit, which has given Maldonado a little bit of a gap going into the second lap of this race. Hülkenberg is still chasing very close behind in these tricky conditions here in Canada. It's only starting to rain heavier, I think, so we might have to think about getting the heavy wet tires on later in the race. So we jumped forward a bit onto lap 4 and not much has changed. We're still chasing Maldonado and the Force India ahead with Hülkenberg very close behind. Now we had a slide on the exit of that corner and Hülkenberg has got a massive run, so we've gone defensive into the hairpin to try and block him off, and he has braked a little bit earlier there as well, and we managed to keep that position. Hülkenberg, who is of course driving a pretty quick Sauber, as we've seen previously in the season. Hülkenberg has tended to get himself into the lower end of the top 10, which is quite impressive, and I'd say that Sauber is looking like the best of the midfield cars, I guess you could say. So I guess he's probably a bit frustrated that he's been stuck behind this Marussia for the time being, but I'm not planning to let him by anytime soon, as far as I can help it. So we've done the chicane nicely this time without hitting the World of Champions to still remain in 13th place, and now getting a bit on Maldonado as well. Getting very close to his gearbox now, coming through the start of lap 5, but just can't get the power down quick enough in this car to really have it go out of slow corners. Traction, one of the things that the Marussia struggles with the most, especially in the rain, I guess. You remember the last time it was raining, like I mentioned earlier, in the Spanish Grand Prix 2 races ago, when, oh there, we got a bit wide there, oh, and slide, and yeah, that's pretty much what I was doing in the Spanish Grand Prix for the whole race, sliding around, and ended up not finishing the race due to losing my front wing and then understeering into the pit wall when I was trying to pit. So if you haven't seen that, it's pretty hilariously bad from my part, so you'd probably laugh if you watch that. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit better than that this time at least. So far we haven't had any major incidents, which is good. Oh, Hülkenberg trying to stick his nose up there on the inside a little bit, judging by the indicator arrows there, but still staying behind. And again, we haven't had a great exit at the hairpin. You can see that I'm struggling a bit to keep up with Maldonado and Sutil ahead. Obviously the top 10 ahead of them again have kind of, as they tend to do, obviously the top 10 having the best cars on the grid, and they tend to pull quite a bit of a gap at the front as they've done once again here. But yeah, now we're at the start of lap 6. I've run a lap of rich fuel air to catch up to the back of Maldonado. Oh, and now we hit him in the back there. He braked a lot earlier than expected, and now he's sliding all over the place, trying to control the car and trying to not lose the position to Hülkenberg. He's getting very close, but he has managed to slot back in behind me once again. So we've gotten out of that with not much harm done. Still in 13th place after Maldonado, well, I was gonna say that he tried to brake test me, but whatever. Now we're on to lap 8, and there's side-by-side action ahead with Maldonado and Di Resta, and it's been contact. Di Resta has been slowed down by Maldonado's touch there. So Maldonado up to his usual tricks, but I've gained a position by that as well, so I won't complain too much. But it seemed that Maldonado had quite a bit more pace in the bag, because once he got rid of Di Resta ahead of him, he managed to pull out quite a bit of a gap. And Hülkenberg is also now past Di Resta behind me, and he's having another go into the hairpin as he's done previously in the race as well. But again, we defended the inside line very nicely. Almost scraped the wall on the exit, but got the power down to just about stay ahead. But Hülkenberg is having a run now, very close behind, still going down the straight. He is in the slipstream of my car now, pulling over to the left to go side by side down towards the chicane. This can only end badly unless Hülkenberg brakes 500 meters before the corner, as he's just done there, and basically gifted me the position. Oh, actually, or was that Hülkenberg going into the pit lane? It was actually. Hülkenberg is pitted, and as you can see on the indicator there, oh, as we were under pressure from the Toro Rosso as well, the tires are going off, especially the rear tires are going off a bit badly there. Apparently, according to the engineer, there's still some like 15 minutes until heavy wet tires are needed, and with the tire wear on this game, that means that these tires won't last that long, and we'll be pitted on the next lap after Hulkenberg for another set of the intermediate tires, with quite a few other cars also being in the pit lane at the same time. And now, as you can see there, Hulkenberg is coming around turn 2. He has managed to jump us in the pit lane. That has not worked out too well, because obviously he's been on the fresher tires for a lap already, and he has managed to get himself ahead. So we're back down to 13th place. And you'd think that I wouldn't be able to reel in that quick Sauber in the next few laps, but yes, we have done. After running a few laps in rich mix on the fuel, we managed to close the gap on Hulkenberg. Now sliding through the chicane, let's see if we can get a run on Hulkenberg in the slipstream now, coming towards turn 1 on lap 17, halfway through the race now, and Hulkenberg's braked really early. We managed to just about dodge him and go up the inside into turn 1. Really surprised him there. I don't think he expected us to go for a move, but he braked early and we caught him off guard to take back 12th place in the race. And I know that I might sound a little bit overexcited to have gained a position that will still leave us way outside the points, but when you're driving Marussia, you gotta take whatever you can get, really. And now, under pressure once again from Hulkenberg going into the hairpin. Oh no, we braked too late and we gone wide, we slid wide, lost the grip of the car there. And Hulkenberg has slipped through on the inside. Now we really need to use all of our curves, putting it up the rich mix on the fuel as well to try and stay with Hulkenberg in the slipstream going down the straight. We need to get past him straight away, because I don't know if we can reel him in if he gets a gap again. Now we have done. We've gone up the inside into the chicane, gained back that 12th place straight away, even though we now had a bad exit. So Hulkenberg's going to have another go. There's side-by-side action constantly with Hulkenberg at the moment. He is all over us, and now he has the inside line for turn 1, but he's braked early. And we managed to hold it, unless... Oh god, there's been an incident behind as well. Hulkenberg looked like he was on the grass there. And looking back to see the incident has put us off as well. And we gone on the grass, but not lost out. Hulkenberg is dropped behind both Ricciardo and Di Resta, I think. So Nico Hulkenberg in the midst of all the action at the moment. But in the end, he has lost out after pretty much blowing up on that turn 1. Now onto the end of the lap. Oh no, we lost control of the car. Coming off the hairpin. Get on the power, man. No, Ricciardo and Di Resta both slip past, as we still can't stop the wheel spin. Now using curse, because Hulkenberg is coming as well. Once again, will this battle with Hulkenberg never end? And again, we need to defend from him going down the main straight. He doesn't seem as close this time though as he's been previously, and he braked early again. There seemed to be a little bit of battling going ahead. Oh god, with Ricciardo and Di Resta ahead. And I've hit the world champions for the 2000th time in this race, and now we got to defend from Hulkenberg going into turn 1. Let's see if we can keep the position we can, braking cautiously, because the engineer has just told me that I'm on the wrong tires. Apparently, as you can see there, apparently it's now switched over to the conditions that needs the heavy rain tires. There's quite a bit of puddles forming out on the track, so lap 22 and the heavy wet tires goes on the car, as loads of other cars are also in the pit doing the same thing there. I guess I should have taken the hint, really, maybe, when I had that spin coming out the hairpin, that I should have just gone straight into the pit lane after that. But it is what it is. We all pitted on the same lap, and I've remained in P13 with Di Resta and Ricciardo pulling just a bigger and bigger gap out ahead. That is not particularly good for us, as we want to beat as many midfield runners as we can. Oh, maybe we'll beat one here. Di Resta has just pretty much stopped in the braking zone for the hairpin there, but although he's still driving now, though, so he's still ahead of Hulkenberg. But I'm pretty sure Di Resta had some kind of brake failure or something like Massa had last time out in Monaco, which basically makes him really slow into all the braking zones. And as you can see on the screen now, Hulkenberg has passed Di Resta as well, and is still the car behind chasing me. But now, coming towards the end of lap 28, we managed to catch up to the back of Ricciardo, and then we screw it up once again by sliding into the World Champions. That wall is not a friendly wall in this race. And these conditions are also not friendly conditions. It's very tricky to drive out there at the moment with massive puddles and the general lack of grip. But then, tragedy strikes on lap 29. I had a massive lockup going into the hairpin on lap 29 because my brother came into the room and distracted me, and I had to pause the screen while I was throwing him the hell out of there to get him out of the way, because I should have done what I always do when I do online races, and I locked the door, you know, to not get interrupted, but that didn't happen for this one. And Hulkenberg again got ahead of me because of that weird incident that just happened. But I was still keeping up with him because he was being held up by Ricciardo. So I wasn't far behind, but as you can see, I'm now getting waved blue flags for the leaders coming around to lap us. And Hamilton, the leader, is gone past, so I'm letting him through without any problems on the main straight. Now hoping that I could stay on the back of him while catching up to Hülkenberg and Ricciardo. But that damn chicane again had odd right theirs, and then there was another front runner behind me. It's Sebastian Vettel was coming up to lap me as well, so I was still getting waved blue flag. So I thought I better not wait too long to let him by, so I'm gonna go wide here so we can have the inside line and go past. So here you go, Vettel. Go ahead, will you? Oh, you don't wanna take the position, okay. So I'll just let you pass over here instead. What? A penalty? Thanks for that, Vettel.
We've been given a time penalty.
Huh, don't know about you, but I feel a lot better now. So let's move on. Nothing happened there. The stewards are saying that I apparently hit Sebastian Vettel into the wall, and therefore they've given me a second time penalty, but I must have had a brain blackout or something when that happened, because I can't remember any of that. But anyway, that's all that happened in the race. Now we're weaving towards the line to finish all the way down in 16th, where we started because of a total of 40 seconds worth of a penalty accumulated in those final couple of laps. So that didn't quite work out in the end, I'm afraid, but we had some fun battles in the midfield, especially with Nico Hülkenberg throughout that race, so I think we can be reasonably pleased with the pace of the car, matching it up once again with the midfield teams in the Marussia. But it's back to reality and no points in this Canadian Grand Prix. Here you see the front of the grid with Lewis Hamilton taking the win, Alonso and Rosberg on the podium alongside him. It probably should have been Vettel there in second if I hadn't ruined that, but oh well, shit happens, he finished in fourth in the end. Moving on, here we have a new little graphic showing an overview of the results I've had so far this season. We started off pretty good with a 12th place in Australia, obviously, and then we've gone on a bit of a downhill run from that, culminating in the DNF in Spain, but then a classic result getting into the points in Monaco before it's back to reality, like I've said, with a 16th place in Canada. So hopefully we can get that trend going upwards again from the next race onwards. Here is the top of the Drivers' Championship, with Vettel still leading the way despite the incident in this race. And then the part of the table which is more relevant to us, because as you can see there, Fisichella in 13th place in his Marussia with 4 points, the 4 points collected at Monaco, ahead of Sutil, Ricciardo and Maldonado, who all have 1 point each. And then there's 6 drivers who have yet to score any points at all. And I guess we've already achieved Marussia's goal in the Constructors by just getting points on the board, so we can't really complain about the 7th place there. So yeah, I think that was a quite interesting wet race, to be honest. Certainly better than our previous wet race in Spain, even though not everything went to plan here either. Please leave a like on this video if you're happy to see the return of the FisiCareer to my channel, and I will see you in hopefully not too long for the British Grand Prix.